let's first off just get into where we are at with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And yeah, we've had this pullback over the last couple of weeks. And as of today, right now, Bitcoin having a nice little bounce here up to 113.5K. I think the lowest we've maybe seen it get, I don't even know. It's not like we're not sitting here going over the market with a fine-tooth comb every day. I think maybe about 109K it might have gotten down to. But as long as we've stayed within this range, really no issues at all. Standard fare in a bull market. Ethereum has moved down over the last couple of days into the 4100s, 4150. I saw an interesting post by somebody the other day about how sentiment is all doom and gloom, especially about Ethereum at this very moment, as if that's new. But when we reached this price initially, a couple of months ago, it was like, okay, here we go. Bring on 6,500, 7K. Here we come. But now that we're having this somewhat standard pullback, people are freaking out. Just to kind of zoom out, look at where we've been this month. We had rate cuts by the Fed just last week. It was literally just a week ago that we saw the rate 25 basis point rate cut happen. It's all systems go as far as money printing time. I mean, we are arriving there right now. And I didn't really mean to bring this up, Ewok, but I was thinking about this to myself today and about how this late in the cycle, September, the post-Bitcoin halving year, is when we're really starting to see money printing and the global liquidity start to really move this late. It's crazy how late this is getting going. And you think back to last cycle, which many people are comparing a lot of things to, of course, and it was like spring of 2020 that a lot of these things were happening. So a year and a half earlier in the cycle. Now that one was, of course, due to what was going on in the world with a certain virus at the time. But be that as it may, that's when it really started in earnest. That was kind of the uniqueness of that cycle. So that'd be the equivalent of, the money printers going off in spring of 2024 this time around. We didn't get that till right now is when it's starting. So I'll get to my question specifically on that. But just for right now, with where we're at with Bitcoin and Ethereum, how we're looking in September, the rest of the year, what do you feel about both of these right now?
Well, like you said, Bitcoin has it got down to about 107, I think is what the number you were referring to, 109, 107. But it still stayed in this channel. It's gone sideways. I said last week, I thought if they lowered the rates like we thought they would at 25, then it would probably stay kind of stagnant for a little bit, maybe till the end of this month. If it was 50, then we probably would have seen a major run up. But it was priced in, kind of like we expected. We are seeing a nice little run here. Usually Bitcoin, it does it first, and then Ethereum. So hopefully, the other thing I said last Wednesday, we saw this green candle back here of strength, a little bit of strength anyway. This was last Wednesday, or no, wait, where was it? This one? Yeah, this was Wednesday. And I thought we were kind of turning it around, and then it just fell over, right? Yeah. We dropped below the trend line that I had here. We dropped below the 50 moving average. And now we're toying around in between it. So, I did say that was a possibility. However, I thought that it looked like it was gaining some strength last week. So, unfortunately, it did the opposite, and it fell down. Now it's going to test some of these levels again, back to a level that was made back in, looks like December, of one of these tops. Like you said, when it did hit this level earlier, it was back in, early August, and we thought it was go time, and it actually, it pulled back, and then it did make that all-time high, and now it's just doing that same sideways channel again. So I almost feel like there's greater forces at play here still. Somebody is holding this back, and we still don't see retail in. It's not being talked about everywhere, so we just wait. I mean, that's really all we can do. Is if you're a believer in this stuff, that's all we can do is wait, unless you've got millions of dollars to pump something and turn around and be exit liquidity for other people. Mm-hmm. Now's the time to just sit back and appreciate buying in, DCAing like we tried to tell people to do at some of the lows. And that, it is one of the hardest things. I saw Johnny's video rant earlier about a very similar situation of what makes a whale, and whales are made when buying when other people don't want to. It's a very tough thing to do. It's a very difficult place to be buying while it's falling. But that is one of the things that we talked about all bear market was DCA, DCA, DCA. Get your position, get it set. Now we wait, and that's where we're at.
Well, I got news for everybody. You're only 50% up. Well, actually, I guess it'd be 100%. We're at 2x up from the all-time pulse low right now. You can literally buy what was basically the historic low of pulse right now. I did it today. Okay. Now it did drop another 50% past this back in the springtime of this year, but that was very short-lived. There weren't too many buys you could get in at that zone. The opportunity is sitting right here. This is a major. We'll get into the pulse. I didn't even mean to turn this into pulse, but you mentioned that. But we'll get into that in a minute. But there's a lot of history at this point in the chart. Great time to buy. I just bought earlier today. But yes, these people seem to have, and when I say these people, I'm referring to the ones that not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulse Chain, anything on down the line. They are married 100% to the fact that this must happen in the next 3 months. And if it doesn't, they're tagging Richard Hart. You got to do something. What are you doing? Again, I mean, I hate to keep beating a dead drum. And hey, blame Richard all you want. The guy is not perfect. He has certainly made many mistakes, probably some valid criticisms out there. And, you should criticize, and you shouldn't have blind faith to anybody. Ethereum has had an all-time high this entire cycle. It is September 24th of 2025. It's been at an all-time high this cycle for 2 hours on a Sunday like a month ago. Okay. I don't know what you want. I mean, go to other altcoins. Sonic is a big thing. The rebranding of Phantom. You could go. I don't even know. I mean, like Sui, some of these other big blockchains that people are into right now and stuff like that. Please go to them. And I honestly urge people, if you're, and I don't think the people watching this stream feel this way, but the people that are always the same ones bitching, whining, and complaining while pressing sell on Twitter all the time, complaining about the same stuff, literally go invest in something else. I mean, I just don't understand at this point what you think. There are powers, believe it or not, that are much more powerful than Richard. And it's the business cycle and what's happening right now. And, the people have not quite started entering these speculative assets yet, but it is beginning right now. We are seeing the beginnings of it. And if people can just be a little bit more patient, it would probably do them a lot of good. NJ Dub says Sonic is also at an all-time low. I didn't even know that. So there you go.
I'm actually going through. No, but while you were mentioning those, I was just going through some of them. Aave, it looks okay. Nothing great. Here's Polkadot. Look at this. Down and just sideways. Here's Kusama. Down and sideways. Yeah. Matic. Down and sideways. So, I mean, you're exactly right. Ripple is one of the few that is up. I think, BNB. Yep. I don't even know if I have BNB on here.
Both of those, you're right. They've been like the unicorns. Yep.
BNB and So and XRP. Those are the only two that have really done anything. Here's Sonic. It's
exactly. He needs tails to bail him out.
I mean, nothing has really done anything. So, to your point, man, just you got to sit back and relax and wait for things to happen. And it's not just us. It's not just Pulse Chain. And right now is when you want to get people in so they can enjoy the run. But again, there aren't going to be many whales because it's a hard time to buy. Right? I mean, it's a very hard time to buy. So, you just got to let it play out.
You got to have cojones.
Cojones.
Or over. I don't know the Spanish word for ovaries, but either one. Yeah.